The transfers had become almost ritualistic in my life. Steady, methodical, as predictable as dawn. Every semester without fail 3 sums left my account, guided by some invisible hand, quietly moving from my modest, orderly world into theirs. Northwestern, Boston University, UC Berkeley. 3 names, 3 different dreams. One sum that had once made my accountant pause. $173,000 a year. By now the numbers barely stirred me. They had become background noise, like paying rent or renewing software subscriptions. Emma, my niece, dreamed of white coats and saving lives. Her brother Marcus built machines that buzzed and whirred on contest floors. Sophie, the youngest, chased climate data out west, fascinated by melting glaciers. My sister Laura introduced them as my brilliant children. And yes, they looked it. Keen eyes, sleek laptops, polished shoes bought with holiday cash. They were living the life Laura had always pictured for them. A life far beyond the reach of her teacher's paycheck. She never questioned how their tuition was being covered. She assumed our late mother had left a fund, and I never corrected her. It was easier to let the illusion remain. The truth that her younger sister, the one who wasted hours online, was quietly wiring hundreds of thousands across the country, would have made Thanksgiving unbearably tense. So I let the story stand like soft tissue enveloping bone. 3 years of this. Emma entering her senior year, Marcus his junior, Sophie in her sophomore year. The payments showed up on my dashboard like gentle reminders of past kindness, each one automatically scheduled. That Tuesday before Thanksgiving, I sat in my orderly home office, soft jazz filling the quiet, and opened my spreadsheet to double-check spring semester costs. $68,000 for Emma, $57,000 for Marcus, $48,000 for Sophie. Perfect little numbers in perfect little boxes. Due in 6 weeks. That's when my phone buzzed. A message from Laura. Kids are so excited for Thanksgiving. Emma's bringing her boyfriend. Fair warning, they're all feeling very proud of themselves this year. College success has gone to their heads a bit. I stared at the words longer than I should have. Proud of themselves. The phrasing gnawed at me. The assumption that their triumphs existed independently, untouched by the quiet benefactor who made sure they never tasted instant ramen during finals or felt the suffocating stress of student loans. I didn't finalize the transfers. My finger lingered over the schedule payment button for the first time. Thanksgiving morning arrived crisp, the type of cold that makes breath visible and intentions sharper. Laura's house radiated suburban cheer. Ceramic pumpkins, fragrant candles, Pinterest-perfect napkins. Sophie's voice floated from the hallway before she emerged briefly for a distracted hug. "Sorry, group project crisis," she muttered, thumbs flying over her phone. Emma entered next, confident and radiant, trailing a tall young man who looked pleasantly out of his depth. "Aunt Claire, this is Brandon. Brandon, this is my aunt, the family entrepreneur. Internet marketing, right?" he asked politely. "Something like that," I said with a smile. Marcus lingered at the door, still on a call, pacing. "Yeah, just confirmed the Tesla internship for summer," he said, offering a half-hearted nod. The afternoon drifted into comfortable chaos, chatter, laughter, clinking dishes. They clustered together, comparing triumphs. Emma's high MCAT scores, Marcus Design Awards, Sophie's Berkeley research presentation. Their words rang with confidence, their futures enormous. Laura glowed with pride, my father nodded solemnly, and I poured drinks, traded small talk, and told myself it was worth it to see them flourish. Later, while stacking plates, their voices carried from the living room, sharp, careless, young. "Mom, why do we even invite her anymore?" Emma said. "That's not fair," Laura replied. Her laugh was light, effortless. "She's family," Laura said again, softer this time, as though repeating the word could justify everything. "The family charity case," Marcus added, and laughter rippled. "What does she even do? Some vague internet thing? Meanwhile, we're all out here actually achieving stuff." "Marcus, stop," Laura murmured, powerless. "Your aunt's life hasn't been easy." "Easy?" Sophie snorted. "She's almost 40 and still acting like she's figuring herself out. It's embarrassing when my friends ask about family. What am I supposed to say? That she advertises online and lives with what? 2 cats. 1 cat," I murmured, still balancing their dishes. Brandon gave a small, hopeful smile. "Everyone has their own journey." he offered gently. Sure, Emma said almost kindly. But she's the family warning story. Work hard or end up like Claire. Their laughter bounced around the room, bright, careless, and cutting in ways they didn't notice. I set the plates down, feeling my pulse slow. Calm. Controlled. My phone slid into my hand like it belonged there. Banking app open. University portal open. 3 pending tuition payments stare back at me, each with a neat little cancel button. My thumb pressed. Northwestern canceled. Boston University canceled. Berkeley canceled. Then I typed 3 precise identical emails. Please stop all automatic tuition payments for this student. Effective immediately, I will no longer fund their education. Fall semester is fully paid. Forward future invoices to their parent, Laura Mitchell. Send. 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 I stepped into the living room, expression serene. Anyone want coffee? They looked up, startled, faces still flushed from laughter. Silence. Composure. Admirable yet shaky. I lingered another hour, helped tidy up, gathered my coat. Goodbyes were automatic, hugs distracted. Laura walked me to the door. Thanks for coming. The kids can be a handful, she said with fond amusement. They're incredible, I replied honestly. You've raised remarkable people. She laughed softly. We're lucky, really. That trust from your mom saved us. I sometimes feel sorry you didn't have the same support. I smiled and hugged her. I said nothing to correct her. The drive home was quiet. Streetlights glinted off the asphalt, the night air crisp and empty. I exhaled slowly, letting the silence fill the car. Winter passed without incident. Work kept its rhythm, steady and uninterrupted. Tuition hadn't crossed my mind until mid-January, when Laura's name flashed on my phone. Claire, something's wrong, she said, panic in her voice. All 3 kids received notices. Their spring tuition hasn't been paid. They're about to be dropped from their classes. I kept calm. That's serious. Mom's trust should have covered everything automatically. Mom didn't have a trust, only a small retirement account. We split it, $12,000 each for funeral expenses. Remember? Silence. Then her breath caught. Then who's been paying almost $200,000 a year? I have no idea, I said softly. Maybe check with financial aid? They'll drop them. Emma graduates in 4 months. Can you help? Even a loan, just this semester. $173,000. I repeated the number slowly. Laura, I don't have that kind of spare cash. I do online marketing, not Wall Street. Then ask Dad, she said, pleading. I'm sure you can figure something out, I said, ending the call. Messages flooded in over the next few days, first Laura, then the kids. I ignored them all. For days later, Dad appeared in my office unannounced, breezing past my assistant and stepping into the middle of a client meeting. Claire, we need to talk now, he said. I excused myself, leading him into my private office. He paused at the threshold, eyes sweeping across my achievements displayed on the walls. Awards, framed campaigns, client accolades. I didn't realize you'd gotten this established, he said quietly. Most people don't ask. He sat down heavily. Laura's been to Northwestern. They've got the records. You've been paying tuition for over $500,000. Why? Because they needed it and I could manage it, I replied simply. No special fund existed. Laura earns $48,000 a year. And now you stopped. Yes. Around Thanksgiving. She called me the family joke. Marcus said I'm embarrassing. Sophie said I'm the cautionary tale. Laura laughed while I cleared the dishes, I explained. Dad tried to reason. They're young, they say things without thinking. They're adults. Old enough to vote, drive, apply for student loans. Old enough to understand that kindness matters, I said firmly. So you're punishing them for being careless? I'm choosing not to finance contempt, I replied. Seems fair. Emma graduates in May. After all you've done, you'd really let her fall short now. I leaned back in my chair. I've paid for 3 private university educations while being mocked for scraping by with an online job. I never asked for thanks, but I won't pay to be insulted. Dad rubbed his jaw silent. What do you want, then? Nothing, I said. I just want to stop being the invisible wallet who fixes everyone's problems while being laughed at for not fitting their version of success. They didn't know, he said quietly. And they didn't ask, I reminded him. Laura had spent years ignoring the obvious. $600,000 worth of opportunities she'd received without ever questioning who had made them possible. It was easier for her to believe in imaginary trust funds than to acknowledge her younger sister's quiet success. He sighed. So what now? Let them figure it out, I said. Loans, jobs, scholarships, just like everyone else. Or maybe Laura will finally take responsibility. Either way, they'll learn. Then I looked him squarely in the eye and shared a truth I'd held back for years. Dad, did you know I've been running a digital marketing agency for 8 years? I have 43 employees, clients in 6 countries, and last year my revenue was $12 million. He stared. Of course not. Nobody ever asks what you actually do. You're just Claire, the family girl who does vague internet stuff and lives alone with cats. It was easier for everyone to ignore my accomplishments than to see them. That was fine. Until Laura's kids made me the punchline at Thanksgiving dinner. My phone buzzed. Laura's name flashed on the screen. I ignored the call. Emma's crying, Dad said quietly. She realizes what she lost. Understanding consequences is part of growing up. This will be a lesson. No, it won't destroy them, I said. It'll make them work harder. Maybe they'll appreciate their education more when they're paying for it themselves. He stood slowly. You've changed, Claire. I grew up, Dad. Built something real. Quietly, while everyone else looked the other way. After everyone left, I sat alone in my office, watching the sunset over the city. My phone buzzed endlessly. Ignored calls from Laura, Emma, Marcus, even Sophie with her carefully crafted apologies. That evening, Emma sent a voice message. I almost deleted it, but curiosity won. Aunt Claire. Her voice cracked with tears. Mom finally told me the truth about everything, the tuition, the payments. I don't even know what to say except I'm so sorry. I was cruel, dismissive, and said horrible things about someone who supported my entire education. I understand if you never forgive me, but I needed you to know I see it now, what you and Will did. One by one, similar messages from Marcus and Sophie came in, genuine remorse, shock at the truth of my support. But no amount of apology could undo the words they had spoken, the hurt they had caused, or the $500,000 they had dismissed. 2 weeks later, Laura appeared at my office. My assistant had strict instructions, yet she looked utterly defeated. I agreed to see her. They're withdrawing, she said immediately. All 3 of them. Emma found a state school that will accept her credits. Marcus is transferring to a state engineering program. Sophie's taking a semester off to work and save money. They're being resourceful, I said. Claire, please. I know what they said was unforgivable. I should have questioned where the money was coming from. But they're good kids who made a terrible mistake. Good kids? They revealed what they truly thought of me, I said. That's honesty, not a mistake. What can I do now? What would make this right? I looked at my older sister. Always composed, always in control, now crumbling in front of me. Part of me wanted to fix everything, wire the money, restore their perfect lives. But the rest of me remembered the Thanksgiving dining room, holding plates, listening to people I had supported treat me like garbage. Tell them the truth, I said finally. Exactly how much you paid and for how long. Tell them I heard every word they said at Thanksgiving. Actions have consequences. This is what happens when you mock someone's generosity. They know now. That's it. She left crying. 3 months later, I ran into Emma at a coffee shop near my office. She was in scrubs, volunteering at a hospital between classes at her new state university. Aunt Claire, she approached hesitantly. Can we talk for a minute? I gestured to the empty chair across from me. I start at state in the fall, she said. The pre-med program is good. Different vibe than Northwestern, but I'm adjusting. I have 2 jobs now, the hospital and tutoring organic chemistry on weekends. I'm covering my own tuition with work and small loans. It's not what you were paying, but it's mine. That's admirable, I said. I want you to know I get it now. What you did for us, what we threw away. I'm not asking for forgiveness or help. I just wanted you to know that earning my education has made me appreciate it more than I ever did before. I studied her face, tired but full of genuine growth. Emma, I never wanted you to fail, I said. I wanted you to succeed without debt. But I also needed you to see me as a real person, not just the family joke. I see you now, she said softly. And I'm sorry it took everything for me to open my eyes. She left and I sat alone with my coffee, reflecting on family, pride, and the cost of invisibility. My phone buzzed with a payment reminder. Not tuition this time, just my own bills, my life. And I realized something. I had finally claimed it, my life, my work, my worth.